should you know your partner's passwords? And I mean for their cell phone, for anything that they have password protected, even any account, maybe like Facebook or TikTok or anything else like that. This is a hot topic, a hot debate, because you know what? When you're in a relationship, and I mean committed relationship, exclusive, even a marriage for that matter, in my opinion, you should have complete transparency, because if someone is, say, keeping secrets from you, or, if they're just not giving you full transparency, in my opinion, that's a big red flag. And I would tend to think most people feel the same way. Now, you're always going to have both sides of the argument. Well, people say, even in a marriage, there should be privacy. You should be able to confide in a best friend. And I understand that. Let's just say, for instance, I'm having a problem with my wife, some sort of discussion or disagreement, and I'm confiding in my friend Larry or somebody or Ted or whoever, Frank, anybody, any one of my friends. Now, if I'm going back and forth in text, those text messages are sent between me and my friend in privacy, in confidence. Now, if my wife also has my password, now she can see this, and vice versa. She should also be able to confer and, with some degree of privacy. You know what? That's where the rub is. But I still think that in a marriage, in a relationship, there should be full transparency, because if there isn't, I think the other person is hiding something. So this is where it gets a little sticky. If you walk over to your partner and you could say to them, hey, can I take a look at your phone for a second, or can I use your phone? My battery is dead. And he or she, if they kind of balk or, resist in any way, that's a huge red flag. My friend, you have something that you need to find out about. Now, if also they say, hey, you know what? What's your password for your telephone? Let me take a look at it or whatever, and say, well, what do you need to know my password for? Why? And then, the gaslighting and manipulation usually starts, where they say, okay, well, here you go again, acting all crazy, and this is all you, it's not me, and you make a big deal out of nothing, and blah. Everything from that point on is just to throw you off the track, to get you off their scent, because and they know damn well they're doing something they don't want you to know about. This is common. I see this a lot. Now, my wife and I, we share passwords. I have a password for her phone. She has a password for my phone. She can pick up my phone anytime she wants, and I can do the same. Now, because there's a good level of trust in our relationship, because we've been together for quite some time, neither one of us really does that anymore. I mean, we did in the beginning, because we were both out in the dating world for quite some time. So you always have those lingering, friends, if you will. He or she calls every once in a while. You're on the phone with this one. After a while, you're like, hey, you know what? We're to a point now where I don't think you should be, conversing or communicating with your ex, especially an ex that you happen to sleep with. Now, you went out on 1 or 2 dates with somebody. That's a different story, but I still don't believe that has any place in a relationship as well. Members of the opposite sex, friends of the opposite sex, is a no-no in a marriage. And I know the younger crowd thinks differently of this. I did too when I was 20-something years old. But as life goes on, you start feeling a little bit different. And in my opinion, your significant other, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're together for a long time, it's an exclusive relationship, that person should be your best friend. And if they're not, my friend, you have problems, because I'll tell you, there's nothing else I want to do aside from my son, who's, from my first marriage. I don't want to be with anybody else other than my wife. I don't want to, been there, done that with my friends as an 18, 19, 20-year-old. I don't want to hang out with my friends and go do a guy's weekend and play golf. What the fuck I want to do that for? To me, that's a little immature. And then you got the girls' weekends, the girls' cruises. You know what? I get it. You want to go on a cruise with your girlfriends, maybe to the Bahamas or wherever the case may be, do it. You just need to make sure that whoever you're in a relationship with, they also feel the same way you do. Because if they don't, it's going to be nothing but problems. I saw this video just yesterday about this woman who said she was very uncomfortable with her husband going on this type of trip to this place with this group of people. And she was very vague as to what exactly it was, but she kind of owned part of it in saying that, she should have voiced her displeasure to her husband. And these two were in agreement for the past 15 years, like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this, and we're not going to go there because we don't think it's good for our marriage. We don't think it'd be healthy to participate in this type of thing for our marriage. And then he goes off and does it anyway. Now, 15 years of knowing what's you should not be doing, and now all of a sudden you do. I want to somehow or another contact this woman and say, ma'am, you have a problem, because your husband knows for 15 years you're not okay with this. For 15 years he knew you, he knows that you're not okay with this group of friends and going to this location. Now all of a sudden he does it, and I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have to tell him that there's a problem with it. He should know this intuitively. If he loves you and he cares about you and he respects you, he should know this without having to ask you. Because I'll tell you right now, folks, if they ask, they want to, and they know it's not okay, they're just looking for you to get them off the hook. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, for instance, if I'm going to do something I know my wife is not going to be okay with, first thing I'm going to do is say, hey, baby, you mind if I do this with Greg? Now, I know she's not okay with it, but as soon as I ask her, now I'm putting her in a very, very difficult spot. Number one, she's not my mother, but I'm asking her to behave like one by telling me what is okay and not okay for me to do. And I'm a grown man. I should make those decisions on my own. So I'm saying, hey, babe, would you mind if I do this? All of a sudden, I am shifting all of the responsibility from me to her. There's no way she can win, because unless she wants to come across as being what other people would consider to be controlling or overbearing, she's going to say, yeah, sure, go. That's what I would do, because my feeling is like, hey, man, you shouldn't even be asking me this fucking question. You know what the answer is. You're just asking me because you want to get off the hook. So this way now you can blame me and say, well, you said it was okay. Don't fall for that garbage, okay? So, look, if you guys have any issues like this, and I've touched upon a lot of them, get yourself an OTA spy app and get to the bottom of everything, because I guarantee you the answers are in their phone. The OTA spy apps are great. You download the app, you enter the telephone number of the phone you want to spy on, then the remote connection is established between their phone and yours. It's all done by the app, and it's all artificial intelligence, AI, I'm sure you've heard of it, and it's done over the internet. That's where they get OTA from, over the air. So once the remote connection is established over the internet, that's when everything from their phone is going to be sent to your phone exactly as it appeared on their phone. That's right. Text messages, calls, WhatsApp messages, GPS location, browser history, anything that they searched on the internet, any website that they visited on the website, photos, videos, social media activity like on maybe Facebook or anything else like that, everything is going to be sent from their phone to your phone. You can also do what's called stealth commands, or private or we'll say secret commands. Once this remote connection is established, from within the app, from within the OTA app, you're going to be able to send secret messages to the other phone. What I mean by secret is that's right, they will not show up on the other phone. So you can send a secret command for that phone to reveal its exact GPS location at that very moment. You could do it on demand, anytime, from anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where they are. All you have to do is send it through the app, and it reports back to you that phone's exact GPS location as a pushpin on a Google map. There's also what's called remote microphone activation. Again, you send the command to the phone, it activates the microphone of that telephone, thereby allowing you to listen to the surroundings of that phone. You have to be careful about that. Make sure you adhere to any law in your country as it pertains to activating the microphone and listening to someone's conversation, because that's a very, very powerful feature. So you'll be able to listen to that conversation as if you're sitting there yourself. So once you send that command and the microphone is activated, if that phone is sitting on a desk, yeah, you're going to be able to hear everything as if you were sitting there yourself, just as if you were sitting right there within the conversation. If it's in a car, you're going to be able to hear the surroundings of what's going on in the car, okay? Now, another stealth command feature is videos. That's right. You can send a stealth command I'm laughing because even I can't believe this stuff is possible. So yes, you can send a stealth command to a phone and have it activate the video camera of that phone. So yes, now you can take a video of whatever the phone is looking at that moment, okay? So if it's laying on a desk and it's, the camera's facing the ceiling, that's what you're going to get. But yes, you'll also get the audio. If the phone happens to be on a stand at someone's desk, that's right. You're going to be able to start recording a video of whatever that camera's looking at. And you could designate forward-facing camera or rear-facing camera. It really is quite amazing. So these types of apps are used or are available and used for people like you to get the truth when you know something is just not right. And it could be anybody. It could be a relationship. It could be your son, daughter, elderly person, a friend you're concerned about, whatever the case may be. Just make sure, I say this in every single video, and listen up because it's important. It is illegal in most countries to use or install monitoring or surveillance software on a phone that you do not own or have authorization to install. Now, if you own the phone or you have ownership interest in the phone, that might be a different story. Make sure you seek legal advice. The other exception might be if the person you're monitoring is under the age of 18 and you are their parent or legal guardian. That might also be an exception. But again, make sure you seek legal advice. Do not take legal advice from me. Just remember that these apps that I told you about and their usage and everything else like that are very, very powerful. They're not too far removed from what law enforcement might use, so you have to be careful when you use them. They're going to get you a lot of information in a very short period of time. And yes, more than likely, 99.9% chance without the other person knowing, without having the phone, without being anywhere near it, So just whatever you decide to do to obtain the truth, just make sure you do it within the framework of the law of your country, and always keep yourself and everyone else safe.